just gotta palm my back. Jesus. Seriously? I'm
As
broke.
such an old man, dude.
Dude, it's so bad. I don't even know how. Like I'm 26 years old and my back is just so fucked up.
That's so bad.
It's so messed up.
You're gonna pull one of those I need a vacation from my vacation sentences.
Dude, I fucking wish. No. Okay, so we were actually pretty like excited to come home from San Francisco because we spent a couple nights there, but we're like, you know what? We didn't conquer, of course, because you know, it's San Francisco. Honestly, it was fucking weird. Like it's a legitimately weird place. And I just, especially from somebody from like Idaho, where like everyone has a car. You can't walk around places for the most part, unless you want to walk like a mile. Like maybe if somebody lives in the same neighborhood as you, you're golden. But other than that, not gonna happen. There literally walked so much. It's fucking insane. We walk like upwards of like 6 miles a day. I was like, oh my God.
I mean, but that's vacationing. Like, to be honest, at least for me as well, like my wife and I, we will be, you know, we don't have a car. We don't usually rent one. So we'll take like Ubers or we'll just walk to places. And so for us, when we're on vacation, we're like, oh, what is it? It's only like half a mile. It's a mile. We can walk that easy. And we just walk it. If we were at home, we'd be like, that's a mile? I ain't walking that. Like, exactly. I would never in a million years. But for some reason, vacation mode, you're like, I guess I'll use my legs again. What is this?
Oh, dude. Also, we refuse, like, there was a brief conversation before about like, hey, do you want to rent a car when we get there? And I was like, no. In no world do I want to drive in that city. And I'm so glad we didn't. So we took a lot of like public transportation, which is kind of like, that was also something that was weird for me because of outside of like early school. So upwards of like freshman year in high school, but not even really then. That was the only time I've ever taken a bus. And it wasn't weird because it was just a bunch of fucking kids, whatever. We had to take so much public transportation in San Francisco. So it was like, we rode buses, we rode trains, we rode trolleys. Shit was crazy. And fancy. I gotta tell you, fuck, dude, those things are sketchy as hell. It's so scary in a weird way where it's like, shit was so bumpy. First day we got there, okay? We get off our plane. We're like, okay, we got to find a way to our hotel. My wife and I kind of just trying to figure it out. The Google Maps doesn't necessarily help because it refers to things not in the way. So like it doesn't say BART or anything like that. Like it wouldn't tell you a train. It would just tell you take the blue line. And I'm like, in what world do I know what the blue line is? Why would I need Google Maps if I understood how to get around San Francisco? Like, I don't, what the fuck do you mean by the blue line? So we just kind of like tried to figure it out. But we like sit outside. We get it figured out. We sit outside this train. Train comes. We watch somebody get out. And I was like, that was kind of weird. They like walked away. I was like, okay, whatever. Doors shut and everything. And we just sit there. And we were like, okay. Whatever. Like maybe they're going to the bathroom. Like whatever. Okay. Taking a little break. We sit there. Keeps going. People start piling up. We're all like, how the fuck do you get in this train, bro? Like, when does the fucking train go? Like, I don't understand how these trains work. Like, it didn't make any sense to me. And I was like, fucking, like, is it done? Is the train not go no more? What's happening here? And then we see just like this random guy. And it was so funny. So many of us are sitting here. Seriously, like fucking 50 people waiting for this train. Guy's just like sauntering. He's taking a nice little breezy walk. He's just walking along. He's got his neck pillow like he's got no care in the world. And I was like, fucking like jog or something, bro. Like I was just fucking sitting here. What are you doing? It was so weird. And then he gets in, of course, opens up the doors. We all get in, and Morgan and I are like, I guess we'll figure it out. Literally never ridden a train in my life. Like, this shit was weird. We sit down. Bro's bombing down these fucking railroad tracks. Like, it's fucking crazy. He was just going light speed, I swear. And then he'd stop at stops. No joke. 2 seconds. He would stop, open the door, be like, nah, close the door, bolt. Like, it was so quick to the point where we were terrified that we would miss our stop. So like 2 stops before we got our shit together, we stood up. We're like, we got to get out that door like that, because this guy's just going to fucking take off. Like, he was so quick to leave. I was like, bro, you just took a leisurely fucking walk to the front of this train, and then you're going to act like you're in some sort of hurry? Fuck you. It was so crazy. And public transportation, so weird. So you were saying like you take a lot of like Ubers sometimes when you go on vacation?
Yeah, it depends on where we're going. Like in an area that's like, you know, an LA or a New York, we would usually take like the subway system or, you know, the buses and things like that. Like if there is a lot of public transport, like we'll take it, but it just depends on the location.
Yeah, it didn't help that like we didn't understand how, like, okay, so it was like you get to a bus stop and we accidentally took the wrong bus once because we just didn't understand how the buses worked. We were like, okay, the bus, it says it's coming, so that must be the bus. So we got on the bus. It took us like 4 stops down, and then they're like, get off. This is where it ends. We're like, oh, fuck, we just took the wrong bus. Like, it's just, we didn't understand how the buses worked. We slowly figured it out, but we took one lift. Literally the only lift I've ever taken in my life. I don't think I'll take another one. We get into we're like, okay, we took the wrong bus. We get out. We're like, we're just going to lift to this place. It'd just be easier because it seems way too complicated for what we're ready for right now. We're hungry. We're tired. Fucking, for some reason, 8 degrees here is cool, but 68 degrees in San Francisco is like, I've got ass sweat for days. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Because all that walking you're doing.
Seriously, so hot. I don't understand. And it was like, we packed for like, oh, shit's gonna be like it is here. So we brought like some like heavier shirts and stuff. Get there, and I was like, I'm sweating so fucking hard. It was insane. So we're like, whatever, we'll get a lift. This guy pulls up. She's like, it says he's like right here. Guy pulls up in, it seems like an okay van. Like, it's not a windowless van or anything. It's like a minivan. We're like, okay, guy, he opens up the door. Okay, we go to get in. Everything is plastic. Literally, it's like Dexter's Kill Room. Everything is plastic. Bro's got like this super weird plastic sheet that he just literally drilled into his car. And I was like, that seems a bit excessive. What are you going to do when the like, you always going to have that? Have you always had this? Is this what your car always looks like? Like, I don't understand. And
yeah, he just Windexes it down. He just wipes it down. He's like, oh,
dude, it was
nice
weird.
And clean.
And it wasn't even like a nice thick plastic. It wasn't like a plastic screen or anything. It was like, and I've said this to a couple people. It was like the plastic that's at the front of action figure boxes that you could like poke with a pen and make a hole in it. Like, you could easily tear that shit with your fingers. That's this kind of plastic. And I was like, what the fuck is happening? So this guy, he's just bombing. This shit is like 30, it's a 30 mile per hour. Bro's going like 50. What are you doing? And he was like honking. He was punching his steering wheel and shit. It was crazy. And then he kept like, while he was driving, fucking with his GPS. And I was like, bro, you want to focus on the road, please? Nah, like, that would be cool. I was like, am I going to die in a lift? Like, I was afraid of getting like fucking stabbed, but am I going to die in a lift? First lift I ever take, I get in a fucking car accident. How crazy would that be?
That would be pretty crazy. You literally just got dealt a bad hand, but that is kind of the gamble that happens when you go for just randos who are like, I'm going to drive a car and drive people in it. And you're like, okay.
It was weird. And my wife tried to talk to him because we basically just sat in silence for like a little while. And it was so uncomfortable because my wife and I felt like we couldn't talk to each other either.
Oh, no, you still can.
No, she was like, oh, how's your day? He ignored her. He straight up ignored her. And
like,
we were like, okay. So we were just kind of like,
maybe he was hard of hearing, huh?
No,
think of that?
Because then we had a conversation with him later where he was just like, is this the right place? And we're like, it seems like a full conversation. But after that, refused to talk to us anymore. Literally refused to. I was like, bro, what the fuck is happening? This is such a sketchy lift. And then it was so uncomfortable because we wanted to get a lift. Like, so we stop, we got what we were going to get. And then we are like, oh, maybe we'll get another lift to take us to the next place. Because we still hadn't figured out how the like public transportation worked. But he just sat there and we were like, if we call a lift, is it going to be him?
Is it going to be him again? Yeah.
So my wife is like, I want to like 1-star him so that I won't get him again. Because apparently like it takes him out of the rotation. So it's like, that would be a good idea. But how about we just do like public transportation? Like, how about we just try to figure that shit out?
Just not.
Yeah. We almost took the wrong fucking bus again. Luckily, I figured it out. I was like, I don't think this is going the right way. And actually, it's kind of weird. Like, everyone acts like we were so nice. Like, people would actually, there were several people who were like, you're not from here because you're kind of nice people. And I was like, what? Like, that is so weird to say.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. But several people, we asked, we were like, hey, does this train go to this place? And they're like, nope, it goes the other way. And we're like, cool. So, personable people, nice people. I don't understand why everyone's shitting on the people of San Francisco. It's weird. Okay.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's hot as balls there. I don't understand.
Should have just walked right in and started kicking babies. Been like, I'm a local.
Yeah. No, it was like legitimately weird. I haven't seen that many beautiful, sweaty people in my life. Like it's just everywhere. Beautiful people. Beautiful people. It's weird. Everything smells like weed. It smells like pee or it smells like poo, except for the people. They all smell delicious. It was weird. Like, I didn't get it. All the people, they're fucking drenched in sweat or they're just not at all. Like, they're just not sweating at all. Wearing like a fucking hoodie, like me right now, not sweating. I'm sitting there in like a fucking t-shirt. My balls, ocean. Like, it doesn't make any sense, dude. It's like these people are aliens. And they're beautiful and smell delicious. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It was
Sounds
a weird
like you
trip.
had a great time, even if you were an alien in their worlds.
It was nice. It was kind of weird. It was fun. Like, we went on like an Alcatraz, like a tour of Alcatraz, but we just took like a boat tour. And I found it legitimately hilarious how many people were super stoked to take a picture on the other side of the Golden Gate Bridge. Like, as we were coming up to it in this boat, they were like taking pictures of the Golden Gate Bridge. Fuck yeah, this is so cool. Then we got on the other side, they were even more stoked to take pictures of the other side. And I was like, it's the same fucking bridge, dude.
Baby, get it from both angles. You know what I'm saying?
I was seriously sitting there, like, I turned to my wife and I was like laughing and she's like, what? And I was like, why does everyone want a picture of this? I was like, it's symmetrical. That's the way they build bridges.
You
like,
need the memories. So when you're going through your slideshow, you could be like, this is the left side and this is the right side.
It's the same
people
picture.
Will be like, wow, I can't believe you got, are you sure you didn't just Photoshop that? You just fucking swapped them, just rotated it a bit? And they're like, nah.
Yeah,
it's the right side.
Yeah, it's like that episode of The Office where Pam gives Creed like the two pictures and she's like, corporate needs you to find the differences in these two pictures. And she's like, it's the same picture. Like, it's basically that. It was so weird. And how many people I've talked to them about San Francisco and they're like, did you go on the Golden Gate Bridge? And I was like, no. And everyone's like, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you go on the Golden Gate Bridge? And I'm like, what's so interesting about this fucking bridge? And they're like,
it's a bridge.
You walk on it. And I was like, cool. What's on the other side? And they're like, oh, it's the redwoods. And I'm like, cool. The redwoods are like a fucking mile after. Like, you have to walk like through a fucking sketchy ass tunnel up a mountain and some bullshit. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And everyone's like, oh, it's like an easy walk. It's literally like a mile long bridge. And then you have to walk like another mile to get to the fucking redwoods. It's like,
nah.
Why would I want to go over there?
Those are just vacation miles. They don't count. They don't
Dude,
count.
That shit was crazy though.
I mean, that's all monuments are. And like there's so many attractions where people are just like, you got to see this one thing in this state, and you go see it. You're like, cool, I'll take a picture. That was an experience. And like, that
blew my mind.
It blew my mind. I feel like a lot of that is for vacationing is like, you do it so you could be like, I did it. And like, check that fucking box, you know? Like, I don't know. It is what it is.
It's like everyone I talk to acts like I fucked up by not walking across this bridge to nothing. To fucking nothing.
You're like, at your deathbed, you'll be like, the one thing, I should have walked across that bridge. And you're like, no, come on now. You don't get it. Like, I'm sure you'll be on another bridge one day in your life.
Exactly. Like, it's fucking dumb. And I'm not a big fan of heights. So it's like, nah, I'm good. Like, there was a point, though, where as we were going under the bridge, I was like, wouldn't it be fucked up if somebody jumped off right now? Like, that
would be worse.
Like, it was me, my wife, and like 2 people in front of us had the same idea. We all said it. We're like, wouldn't it be really fucked up if they jumped off? It would be even more fucked up if they landed on our boat. Like, all of us were freaked out about this. The one thing that I'm super annoyed about when it comes to this fucking vacation, though, dude, I got sunburnt. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy?
I mean, it's not. You're real white. You're real white. Yeah. I don't think anyone would be surprised. You do have a nice red glow to yourself right now, though.
It's looking good.
You got a nice bronze, if you will.
Luckily, I was only like, my face got a little burnt and like the bottom of my arms got burnt because I was just wearing a t-shirt. Like that's the nice thing about being an adult and wearing a t-shirt is that I don't ever have to worry about getting my back sunburnt. Also, being a chubby adult, I don't take off my t-shirt, you know. So it's like, nah, we'll be fine.
Are you a on shirt kind of swimmer?
See, I've thought about it before. I've thought about being the guy with his t-shirt on in the pool, and I've been like, honestly, the ridicule I would receive from wearing my t-shirt in the pool far outweighs the ridicule I'd get from my fat man titties. Like, it's just, it's
I like it.
So much more. It's just astronomical degrees. So I'm like, nah, I'm good.
There ain't nothing wrong with fat man titties.
Yeah, dude.
Titties are titties. They're all great. They're all great.
Titties and middies, it's fine. It's fine. Also, several people publicly urinated. And I was like, that's cool. I was a big fan of that. And we walked past and I like stopped my wife. I was like, don't step in that kid's pee. That's pee. And she was like, how do you know? And I was like, I just saw him come over here and take a piss. Like, it was so weird.
Sometimes you gotta go, you know?
Dude, actually, last thing. Then we'll get on to the indie games.
We're like,
I know it's
over.
like 20 minutes, bro. Dude, last thing.
Way over.
Okay, so you know how we were talking about Imodium and how I was taking it because I had to test drive it, okay?
Yeah,
bro,
for sure.
I was fucking taking turd suppressors like no other because there are no bathrooms in fucking San Francisco. The whole time I was like, where am I gonna dookie? I don't know where I can poopy. Like, it doesn't make any sense, dude. I was choking them things down. And then when I got back, I was like, I don't feel good. I'm not feeling awesome.
You've got something stored up there.
Yeah, I'm like a fecal bomb.
Out.
I'm just gonna blow up. It's raining poopy.
Oh my goodness.
Whatever.
Yeah, you have to literally just find the store that has a restaurant that has a bathroom that you could just be like, I want to buy, like a Starbucks, and be like, I want to buy a cookie and then poop in your restroom.
I've tried to do that, but they were like, the bathrooms are closed, and I was like, are you fucking serious?
Oh my god, I did it once where, because my wife and I used to go to New York all the time, and I would always have the same issue where I'd be like, I gotta pee real bad, and we'd have to just find the one like coffee place or something. And finally, I like rushed. I was like, oh, first coffee place. I rushed in. I was like, oh, buy a coffee. I'll go find the restroom. And so my wife's like, okay, and I like run to the back. There's no fucking restroom. And
that's what's insane, dude. How do they not have bathrooms?
I'm like, oh my god, there's no restroom. So I walk back, and she literally had already finished paying for the coffee, and I was like, damn it, now we gotta buy another because we have to go to a different place.
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. Hello and welcome to IndiePod, an indie games podcast, your weekly source for all the indie games news you need to know. This week, we don't have any big news stories to talk about, but we do have all sorts of other cool stuff. We got a bunch of new stuff. We got listener questions. We got God Bless the Crowd, all sorts of fun stuff. You also just had 20 minutes of
way
free,
too much.
just San Francisco knowledge from somebody who has never been to a real city in their life. So that was really fun.
Let's go Blue Line.
I gotta fucking, dude, okay. Just fucking be normal about the way that you talk about these fucking trains. I'm just saying, like, so stupid.
I love that you're attacking San Francisco about this, but it literally just sounds like you were attacking me for a minute.
No, dude, I'm attacking Google Maps, not San Francisco,
all right.
not you. Google Maps. Fuck you, Google. Just give me everything in layman terms, okay? Like, I'm a fucking dum-dum. Fuck you. But before we do any of that, I would like to introduce myself, Vaughn Hyde, alongside my illustrious co-host, the biggest of average Josh boys. How you doing today, big Josh boy?
I'm doing well. An interesting story, nonetheless. I don't have anything quite as good, but I'm here.
I mean, it was pretty much, it was less a story and more a series of complaints. So,
I mean, I feel like that's all your stories.
oh yeah. Also, I got an ice cream cone that literally started melting seconds after I bought it. And I was like, what is this place, dude?
Sounds like you didn't step up to the challenge.
Dude, right?
Eat that
my
fucking
wife
cone.
fucking just like wolfed this shit down. Hers was good. Mine was leaking. I had ice cream all over me. It was on my pants. It was on my shoes. I looked like a toddler. It was fucking insane.
Sometimes I'm convinced you might be.
Yeah, it's very possible. I might be a big baby. Yeah,
I could see
that's definitely possible.
You're my big baby.
Not a good.
I know what you were going for, but it just sounded like you farted.
Yeah, probably. I just relieved myself.
You're just like,
Thank you.
good.
All right. So we, of course, have to go through housekeeping. Before we get into anything, please check out our developer interview with Odd Bug Studio. That one goes live on Wednesday, the 13th of October. They're talking about their game, Tales of Iron. I'm actually really interested in this one because Tales of Iron looks totally dope. Reminds me of Redwall, which y'all know I like me some Redwall, okay? I want to read the books, but let's be real. I'm going to have to get that audiobook. And if it's a boring ass like orator, I'm going to, I'll just kill myself. Like, it's fine. I'll resort to that, but whatever.
Yeah,
Please check out
sense.
the Indie Pod store over on Teespring for t-shirts and stickers, obviously based on the show. Fun stuff. Check out our YouTube channel. It's just Indie Pod over on YouTube. Leave us reviews on any platform in which you can do so, specifically iTunes. Helps us out a bunch. And lastly, thank you so much to all of our amazing patrons. The $3 tier or higher, if you give us any amount of money or any amount of your time, you are absolutely fantastic, and we love you for it. But I made a commitment. I made that blood pact, and just to make sure that the devil doesn't find out early that I don't have a soul, we got to read these names. So there you go.
Of course.
So Ethan, a gamer for fun. John, it's just John. We'll see. Not mix. Actually, sorry. I've been in the fucking.
You got in the loop.
Yeah. Zach Durham, Chase Hopkins, Philip Crenshaw, the Wombat Imp of Australia, Josh Nichols, aka Active Josh, and Sam Philly from Canada. Thank you all so much. You are all so amazing. And let's finally talk about some indie games. Only 25 minutes into this podcast about indie games. Are we actually going to talk about them? Big Josh Boy, you're playing Chicory, A Colorful Tale by the people who hate me the most in the universe. So we've got Greg Lobanov, A Shell in the Pit, Madeline, Berger. I'm going to keep going with like the French thing because otherwise it's Berger.
I think that's pretty good.
And it's like, Berger sounds more interesting. If I was them, I would say it was Berger. You know what I mean? And Alexis, Dean Jones, and Lena Raine. Big Josh Boy, tell me about Chicory, A Colorful Tale. And how much is it bothering you that it should have been called Draw Dog? Is it still getting to you, dude?
I still, this would have been a 10 out of 10 for me, but because of the name, I'm gonna have to 5 out of 5.
Yeah, dude. That's awesome. So, real, what do you think about the game?
For real, it's a great game. This was one of the things when we had our potential game of the year talks, indie game of the year, that I was like, I don't know, Chicory, I haven't finished it. Maybe it'll be up there. I think it's a contender. I wouldn't say it's like my number one right now, but it's definitely in that top 5 space just because it's such a cool little game. Like it doesn't appeal to me in all the ways that I think if I was more of an artistic person, as in I wanted to spend my time and have a nice little like calm, like get to paint everything in that world type of vibe, like you can do it and it's totally cool if that's what you're into. I'm not as much, which is why I don't think this is like my oh, this is the best game I've ever played kind of thing. But I love the little puzzles that are in it. I love the creativity of it. I love the story to it, which plays a big, like a lot bigger of a role than I thought it would, which I guess I should have known based on, you know, Greg Lobanov and Wonder Song. But like the story was a really good play into mental health and like the whole idea of not succumbing to self-induced pressure.
Okay.
And other pieces, and a little bit of like the whole like friendship, yay. But like
you gotta, anything
dude,
with anthropomorphic characters,
dude,
you gotta do the friendship.
You gotta do it.
You know, even like the furry porn I watch, immediately they're just like friendship, dude. Fuck yeah,
friendship,
and then they get into it.
Oh yeah, baby. This is really how I wanted to give my review for Chicory. Anyway,
Checks
no, but you know, furry porn aside, I think Chicory is a great game. It has none of that, but
I hope that's the poll quote. If we ever get quoted on anything, I hope it's furry porn aside, Chicory is a great game.
It doesn't have any of it, but it's a good enough game where it doesn't need it. The whole point is you are, I'm not going to go into like the whole story of it, but you're this individual who like this world has these brushes and you're called the wielders. And it's these people who have giant paintbrushes and they essentially holds the color in the universe, it seems like. And so color is taken away from the world and you have to figure out what's going on. The person who was the original wielder is this individual who's named Chicory. It's this rabbit. And they're gone, and you are a janitor who you get to name in the game. It is, what is your favorite food, is the question you're asked at the start of the game, and mine was quesadilla, so that was my characters. Some people put pizza, that's a more common one, but I didn't want to go with pizza.
I mean, do you get to type it in, or is it just like a choice?
You get to...
Like, do you have to choose, is it like burrito, quesadilla, pizza, or is it like... pussy, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, that is my favorite though. This episode is way off the hinge. I don't recall because one of the cool things about this game is if you played the demo from way long ago, it just picks up where you saved. So I was like, yeah. So I bought the game. I started playing and I was like, where the fuck am I? I was like, what? I was like, why is half of this world painted poorly? And I was like, oh, it's me.
Oh, okay. That's really cool, but I imagine that would be pretty jarring. It was just being like, is this the start of the game?
Yeah, dude, it was very strange because at first I was like, oh, did they change the intro to the game since the demo? I was like, okay, like let's get into this. And then I was like, oh, wait, no. Something's not right here. And then I like realized I like looked like after I finished a certain part, it was like chapter 3. And I was like, oh, no, that's not right.
That's pretty awesome. Okay.
Yeah. So it's a really cool piece. So I can't answer your question, but regardless, you're playing as this character and you're trying to restore color to the universe. You have these things that are popping up throughout the world, or these darkness, evil trees, and you have to discover what's behind it and a whole bunch of other stuff. But honestly, like I just thought it was super creative. The puzzles in it are great. The creativity from just the interactions that you have are super cute. And like you can play this game the way you want, where you could just kind of like speed through it and just be like, I'm not here for anything other than the story. That's what I'm looking for. Or you could talk to like every individual and they'll have like multiple lines for like dialogue for you to go through. They'll have like little quests and things for you to do, because the whole point of you being a wielder is that you're supposed to help everybody in the world and whatever. And like there's little cool ones where you get to draw, they make you draw things and paint things so that you can design your own t-shirts. You go to a painting class and you show and create like portraits and things. And it's really interesting. My favorite part was, and yes, I am a child. They asked me to design a t-shirt. and I made a penis.
Oh, of course you did. Okay, gotta draw that pee-pee. I mean,
my
literally
favorite part,
just like on the Steam picture, somebody drew a butt. So.
a butt. Yeah. So I just wanted to flip it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I didn't want to copy them.
Exactly.
I gotta be creative.
That's plagiarism, dude.
Exactly. That ain't
100%.
Me.
No
I'm
one else who
100%
played this
original.
game would ever draw a penis.
You know what they didn't do though? I put right under there. I put hard. The word hard.
Oh.
Bet you no one did that.
Dude, you
know what I'm
fucking
saying?
got him, bro.
Dude, I know. My favorite part about that and why I love this game is because they play into that. And like, I feel like they knew what they were doing. They were like, they're gonna draw peepees and boobies and whatever.
Oh yeah.
The minute you walk out of that place after you've designed that t-shirt, there's two people who just have the t-shirt on and they're like, we love it. And I'm like, this is a good little cutscene right here.
You're like, I love the fact that I adorn children in dick t-shirts. I feel really good about myself right now.
It's what I do. It's what I'm known for. No, I loved it. I thought it was great. I love the story to it. I think that it is a lot longer than you would think. I feel like I spent 15 or so hours throughout this game.
Damn.
Which is, it's a good chunk. Like it's not one of these games where you're like, it's an indie game. It's a short experience. It's fun. Like this had like a good amount to it. And like I said, if you want it, like I could have spent even more time because I could have kept talking to people around like, you know, the midpoint to the later half of the game. I was like, I'm just going to focus on the storyline to this and get over with it. Because it was one of those things where like I love the game, but at a certain point, it's one of those things where it wasn't really for me because the gameplay to it isn't like you have these puzzles, which are fine. And there's no like real main combat until you have these ends, like at the end of the chapters, you have these like little boss fight things where you're essentially, it's kind of like a bullet hell in a way of like you dodging certain attacks. And at the same time, you're trying to paint on enemies to like defeat them and do certain things. I thought those were really cool, but there's I don't think there's any real difficulty to them because there's times where I would do it and I'd get hit multiple times and the game would act like I was going to fail. And then it would just be like, try it again. And it would just go right back into it. So I was like, did I fail? Am I still going? But like, so it's good from an accessibility standpoint of like, there is no failing, it seems like, but at the same time, it's good because you could just be like, you could set that on yourself of being like, if I get hit, I got to start it over. If you want to make a hard mode, I guess, for yourself. But I do wish there were a little bit more of those moments because I thought those were really cool and interesting the way they designed them. But it's just a lot of kind of exploring and on your own, like solving puzzles and taking your time with it, which I think I would like more if I wasn't in the state of always being like, and we've talked about this with this show of me being like, sometimes I'm like, I got to just finish this game so I could talk about it and have like a full opinion on it rather than just being like, because I hate when we do that. We have times where we're like, I played half of this game and I'm like, and maybe I'll have an opinion on it next week. And then I just never play it again. And I'm like, fuck. Like, so sometimes I just try to speed through things, but I still think it's a lot of fun and people will enjoy this. I think it's a top 5 for sure.
Dang.
From this
you
year,
play it on
this
PC?
Year. I played it on PC.
I guess you said you played the demo, so.
Yeah. I think it does have console because I saw that it has like
PlayStation
controller
4 and
support.
PlayStation 5 is what's listed on Google.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and it does have controller support. I was really just wondering how the painting mechanic works with the controller. Like they released Okami HD on consoles, and I felt like the painting mechanic in that was kind of weird, like the brushwork.
Yeah.
So I was wondering how it felt with like Chicory on controller, but I doubt you did.
No, I didn't try it out because I mean, this game feels like it's just so much more set to be just use your mouse and paint and like scroll around wherever you want. Yeah. It was just too easy for me to not want to use that. I feel like a controller would suck, although I haven't tried it. So maybe it's good. I mean, I haven't heard anything negative about it, but I'm not looking for opinions on controllers just because I'm playing it on computer. So,
okay. All right.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
Well, you've also been playing another game. It is Mighty Goose by people who seemingly enjoy me. Okay, they're feeling a little generous. We got
nice and easy
Blastmode and MP2 games. That's who's there. So, Big Josh boy, please tell me about Mighty Goose.
Mighty Goose is on the other side of this, where this is a much more action-packed oriented game. It is a small experience. It's an arcade type game where you play as a goose and you got guns and you kill a lot of people. You're like this assassin who's doing things. I really was not paying attention to the story, but you're just like this goose assassin who's fighting this evil enemy and this empire of people. It feels so like it looks so much like Metal Slug, but it feels like a much more modern version, a much more like quicker and like your character just has more agency to dodge and weave throughout the screen, which is super cool. My favorite thing is at the start, you are a goose. Well, throughout the entire thing, you're a goose. But at the start, as being a goose, your only ability other than using those guns is to honk. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. Cool. What does it do? And it's like nothing. You just honk. And I was like, this is useless. And then as you start playing into later levels, it'll give you more abilities that you can unlock and change to. But instead, because they're like, oh, now he's not honking anymore, they just make your character consistently, like every couple of seconds, just go like, honk, like throughout it.
That's awesome. That's fantastic.
I had so much fun with it. It is a lot of just fast paced of like tons of enemies getting thrown at you, you shooting enemies, getting pickups where it's like you got a shotgun now for a couple of rounds, and then it turns back into your normal like pew pew gun, and then you have like an electric gun, you have a machine gun one, and it's just a good time. Like it is a very short experience. I did the full game and the new game plus mode in one day. It was like only in a couple of hours. Yeah, it's a shorter experience, but I would highly recommend it. They do have a 2-player mode where you can play co-op, but I've heard that it's kind of shitty just because the second player is invincible and is just kind of there to help.
Oh, that's kind of dumb.
Yeah, because it plays into the fact that while you're playing the game, you do have a companion who will follow you and help you out, and you get to like swap them out for whatever one you think is best. Mm-hmm. But I guess they just give you that character, and they don't have a health bar or have any issue with getting hit. So I guess they just didn't want to code that. They were like, you could just be this person and like whatever. But it's fine. Like I played it as just a 1-player game, and I had a blast with it. I love the fact that when you complete the full game and the new game plus mode, you get a power up that just says God mode, and you become invincible and have unlimited power ups and like constant what's known as power meter, which is like your after accruing enough of using a certain weapon, you have a more powerful version of it, and it's just always on. And it just feels so satisfying to be like, haha, nothing can destroy me now, and just like wipe through a level. It was so good. It's a like a good, just dumb, like, let me just mess around and shoot some baddies type game. It's good stuff.
All right. What are you playing it on? I'm obviously PC, I believe, but like, are you playing it through Xbox Game Pass or?
Yeah, so I actually played it on my Xbox. I played it on my Xbox, and it was through Game Pass. Yeah, so this was one of those things where I was just a Game Pass game that came out, and I picked it up, and I was like, this is great. Man, I just played through the whole thing on one day.
Dang. Okay, so I was gonna ask, like, did you feel like it was worth the time you spent on it? But it seems like, yeah, you liked it enough.
I liked it enough. I've almost 100%ed it, and I don't do this with games that I'm like, maybe I should just do it. Because, like, why not?
Yeah, once you get... There are a few games that I've done, that I've played where I was just like, I'm literally like one trophy away from fucking getting that platinum or something like that. It's like, why not do it? You know? Mm-hmm. Except for Hollow Knight, dude. I was never going to do that Coliseum of Fools. That shit was fucking dumb. I was so bad at that game. Like, you literally have to go through like fucking... like 20 levels and then like 2 bosses, and if you die you have to redo it over. It's so annoying. For me, haven't really been playing many indie games this week. Came back from my vacation and pretty much just like I played New World. I'm gonna be honest, like I just played a bunch of
Is
New
that
World.
A new indie game?
Oh, sadly it is, dude. Amazon is an independent company. It's an indie game. No, it's...
I don't know about that one.
I very much, I really enjoy it. Obviously, I'm just an MMO fan, but I don't want to get too into it. Okay, one thing I will say, though. Right now, making a tanking character But how much have you ever tanked in an MMO? Or do you understand how it works?
Once, but I've never, when I have done like MMO stuff, it's never been me tanking for like for real for like raids and shit. I've just played as it kind of like, I'm just gonna play a tank, but I don't do anything that's useful.
Yeah, basically the role is just to absorb damage to make sure your party members don't have it. And mostly in most MMOs, that's done through managing threat, making sure your threat is always higher than the others. It's kind of weird. So in like World of Warcraft, you have skills that generate threat that are super easy. In Elder Scrolls Online, you have like one skill that does it, which is like a stab, which is super annoying. But you figure it out because you're not meant to grab all the ads, just a few. Like Star Wars, The Old Republic, you fucking just there. It's the same as World of Warcraft. In this game, none of your abilities have taunts unless you slot a gem into your weapons. And that's just kind of annoying because it basically just forces tanks to constantly have to grind out to get these carnelian gems to then like, it's just so dumb. Like that's one thing they definitely need to change, but I'm not going to really.
I agree. MMOs are just awful.
I'll slap you.
They're worse, man. If only there was like, I don't know, a better genre out there. Such a shame.
I don't think there is, dude. I don't think there is. You know?
That is the funniest thing you have ever said.
So, we do not have any big news stories to talk about. So instead, we are going to be hopping into News Cram.
Cram.
News Cram is our weekly wrap-up segment where we, the hosts of Indie Pod, an indie games podcast, cram you full of all sorts of indie games news. This week in News Cram, we don't have any quick news stories for you or any new deals or quick steals. I mean, that's not necessarily true. There is sales all the time on different indie games all throughout the multiverse. You know, there's like an 11-bit studio sale going on over on Steam right now. The only thing I hate about that is often enough, it's really nebulous on when these things end. It'll be like sometime.
Until we feel like it.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying, but I believe Moonlighter's on sale, and that's is good. It's good.
It's true.
So you know, pick up Moonlighter. But on to some new stuff. Our first two items in new stuff come by way of Nintendo Life, where it supported that point-and-click adventure game Kathy Raine Director's Cut by Clifftop Games is headed to the Nintendo Switch, PC via Steam, and mobile on October 26th. And that heart-to-heart talking simulator, Coffee Talk Episode 2, Hibiscus and Butterfly by Toge Productions is headed to all last-gen platforms, including PC and the Nintendo Switch sometime in 2022. Now over on Polygon, where it was reported that survival social deduction game, Dread Hunger by Dread Hunger Team is leaving Steam Early Access on November 10th. And that psychological horror game Phasmophobia by Kinetic Games is getting a new update that will add 2 new ghosts to the game, but that's all the detail we have. Now over on Twinfinite, where it supported that life simulator Cozy Grove by Spry Fox LLC just received a new update that adds a new photography quest, manipulation of your tent, meaning that you can go inside your tent now and you can actually decorate it and different stuff.
Ooh,
adoptable
fancy.
house pets and much more to the game. So that's pretty exciting for everyone playing Cozy Grove. That turn-based dash and slash game, Red Ronin by Wired Dream Studios, is headed to all current and last-gen platforms on October 14th. That one actually seems kind of interesting. If you haven't checked out Red Ronin, Josh, it seems like it might be your kind of a deal.
I haven't heard of this, but
there you go.
I will check it out.
Okay. That multi-dimensional adventure game, What Lies in the Multiverse by Studio Voyager and Iguana Bee, is headed to the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC via Steam sometime in early 2022. And lastly, that point-and-click adventure game, Inspector Waffles by Galasso Games, is headed to the Nintendo Switch on October 14th. The last news story comes from IGN, and it is reported that survival horror game Choo Choo Charles by Two Star Games is headed to PC via Steam sometime in Q1 of next year. Literally the creepiest fucking shit I've ever seen.
Choo Choo Charles looks so good. I don't think I'll ever play it, but I thought it was so dang cool. I love this idea.
I hate Zach for bringing it up. It's so terrifying.
I think it's great. Did you know the developer who created this it's a one person studio. Dude is 20 years old.
Really?
Yeah.
And he's like, I saw the Thomas the Tank Engine dragons in Skyrim and was like, why not add spider legs and make you want to die?
Yeah, for sure. Why not?
No,
right?
that is really cool though. That's really awesome. I always love like passion projects like that.
I saw an article on like PC Gamer about his experience afterwards of being just like so shell shocked and now being like, all right, let's do this kind of a thing.
Shell shocked by the amount of people that are like, fuck yeah, I want to get dominated by this creepy train.
Yeah, I don't think they expected all of the hype that came with this, which is just one of those internet sensations, Sometimes things just they pick up.
Dude, people like creepy shit, okay? And there's nothing creepier than a tank engine with spider legs. Like that shit's pretty terrifying.
Plus, Choo Choo Charles is such a good name. It's good.
It's a good name. It slaps. I'm going to say that. It fucking slaps, dude. So that is it for News Cram. So it is time for us to get back to creators in our next segment. This is God Bless the Crowd. This is, of course, when the biggest of average Josh boys hops into all sorts of crowdfunding sites, finds something awesome for us to talk about, and we do just so. This week, we are headed over to Kickstarter once again to talk about a game called Hero.exe. It is a card collecting... Oh, of course he chose it. It's a card collecting action RPG where you dive into the net. Can you find the secrets of the servers? It's coming to PC, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4 and 5, and Xbox. So, Big Josh boy. Oh, of course, actually, I almost forgot. The developers, they were looking for $20,000. They, at the time of this recording, have 37,082, so easily above theirs. They're headed toward a boss mode stretch goal, which is really cool. They have 616 backers with 9 days left to go. The developers are Mystery Egg Games, and to get it on the ground floor, I believe to get a copy of the game is $20. So, Big Josh boy, tell me, what do you think about Hero.exe, and why is it your favorite game you've ever played? Is it because of the cards? Did you play the demo? You're like, man, these cards are just getting my dick rock hard.
Never played this game, but this is Mega Man Battle Network.
Dude, it really is. Like when I looked at it, I was like, this is some Battle Network shit. And like later on, they're like, inspirations, Mega Man Battle Network 2. I was like, knew it.
Yeah. It's very much, it reminds me of obviously as well, One Step from Eden, which recently came out, but a slower version of it. And a more on point with kind of Mega Man Battle Network style of combat, I feel like. But I also really enjoy this because they add this visual novel part, which, I never really care too much when games have visual novels. But I think the reason why they're saying that is more because it's also got this situations where you have conversation and choices and dialogue that you are stringing along with this character that you choose. You get to choose one of a number of characters, and you're kind of stuck with that character throughout the storyline. And choices that you make will impact how your character plays in the game when you're doing that network battle, whatever it's called, which I think is incredible. Like, I love games that do this. Anything that has, choices matter. I'm always interested in it and knowing more about like how intricate that becomes. But I like the idea of having this character that you are locked into and being able to tell their story, but also having this Mega Man battle type combat, because I do enjoy that style of combat because it's so unique. It's very rarely showcased in other games. But no, I think it looks cool. You have also the map where it's like it feels roguelite-esque, but it's not. It's like a story-based one, but you get to choose kind of your path, it seems like, on this board game version.
Map.
Yeah.
Through the grid, which I think is hilarious that like in their inspirations, they didn't talk about Tron or Tron Legacy because it's literally called the grid. And they're like, these are AVAs. And like, those were ISOs. So it's like, come on, bro. Come on.
Who cares? Tron's old. Get out of here. Yeah, no, then again, Mega Man Battle Network ain't new either.
Yeah,
still. but still, no, I think it looks cool. I don't know that this is one that I will back immediately, but if this is, like, I'll wait until this comes out and I will see what reviews are first, probably.
Josh,
I know.
has cards.
If you say cards, look, I don't like that aspect. Everything about the cards aspect in this game is what I don't like about them. It's one of the things. I don't like deck builders. When if I'm given the chance where it's like, so the reason why I like, I've mentioned this before, but the reason why I like roguelike deck builders, like a Slay the Spire, is because I don't have to sit there and think and have like, with these type of games, you get like all of these, and maybe it is a little bit different, but like you get this giant deck of like, here's a bunch of cards, like figure it out. With something like a Slay the Spire, it's like, here's 10 cards, and then we're just going to add one every so often, and you just figure out if you want to remove cards or add them to that deck. But it's not like, here's a list of 100 cards, figure out what the best one is for you. Like, I hate that style, because it just becomes this game of like minning and maxing in a world where there's too many possibilities, where roguelite deck builders will do it in a fashion where they say like, we're going to limit that to randomness, to RNG, and you just have to work with what's your best options out there. And that I love, because that becomes more of a puzzle game for me to be like, what build can I come up with based on what I have, right?
Yeah, I'm wondering if like how exactly they're called codes in this game, which is funny. But they're essentially like, just like in One Step from Eden or like Mega Man Battle Network, which I should say they actually listed One Step from Eden as one of their inspirations for this game. So checks out. But I'm wondering how exactly the codes work. Like, is it just like, oh, build your person? I doubt it's like that, because they also have the, you customize your ABS blocks or ABS blocks, which is Ava build system blocks. So you can build out your character in different ways, even though seemingly each one is geared toward a specific kind of combat. So like they go through it in kind of an annoying way where it refreshes way too quickly, and I'm like, wow, I can't read that fast. But like Valentine is a support Ava. Then you've got like Melody. They use music to do damage. You've got these different. Ronin is like an assassin Ava. Chip is a combat Ava. So it's like they go into it, but I'm interested to see how much you can really customize them through your choice of codes and through those blocks. But I would, the one thing I would really like to know is like, how much exactly do you get access to? Like, do you have to open up what would be booster packs? Like, is it just everything accessible early on, and with the exception of blocks? Or I'm interested to see how that goes, because it seems like there could be a really cool dynamic between like building your deck and also actually creating a build that would maximize that deck, or like basically maybe the other way around, where you like actually create a build, but you don't really get to fuck around with the deck that much. I don't know. I'm interested in how this works. But yeah, I personally have no idea currently how any of it works.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I've been trying to skim through to see if I can, I'm not finding anything specific to that granularity of how you would build the deck. But I mean, regardless, I think it, like, it's a $20 ask for the specific game to actually get the game. That's the lowest tier that you can pay to get an actual digital copy of it, which I don't think is bad. I think that makes sense. I think it's probably a big undertaking for it to be, choices matter. Here's a story, here's combat, here's the overworld. Like, there's a good amount of content that's going into this game. If you like Mega Man Battle Network, like, you should probably look into this. And if not, there's still people who would probably like this from, whether you just found One Step from Eden, or maybe you just like visual novels with a unique twist of combat. This might be for you. Check it out.
Yeah, I think the visual novel aspect's really cool. The one thing that I do really wish was different, which is a little bit weird, is that they have this really awesome pixel art that they use for a couple of different things, like the overworld. They have it, your character on the overworld is like this really nice, like I believe it's like 16-bit pixel art. And they have it in the same, they use the same thing when you're picking cards for your deck during combat.
Right.
But your actual character in combat doesn't use the pixel art, and I really wish it did. I'm a big fan of conversation overlays. Easily one of the weirdest things I'm super into. And I think that like those work so well in conversations, obviously. So I think that those would work really well in specifically the in that kind of like visual novel segment, whereas watching the characters themselves like moving around on this map, they kind of have the same like two animations, and it's like I feel like you could do a lot more with these characters if they were just these 16-bit sprites. Maybe they could have a little bit more flexibility to them. They wouldn't seem so rigid just on this game board, but that's really just a nitpicky thing. The game does look really cool. I'm interested to see if they add any more like Avas down the line. I believe right now they only have the 4, but hey, seems interesting.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll add more. But I don't know. And I do agree with you though, because it feels a little strange, like the disparity between the art styles. But I don't know. I feel like it's just, personal preference on that.
Oh yeah, definitely. Plus, if they hit 45K, they got that beach episode. So let's get it, let's fucking get that shit. But Big Josh Boy, do you have any last little bits you want to say about Hero.exe once again over on Kickstarter?
No, I think I said all that I have to say. I think it's an interesting game that people should check out.
All right, cool. Sounds good. So it is time for us to hop into our listener questions. This week we only have one question, but I feel like it's a goodie. So Mr. Philip Branchard of Australia writes in and asks, if you could go back in the past and change one thing, either in your life or in anything throughout history, what would it be? Big Josh Boy, what's one thing you change in your life or throughout history?
Bro, let's get this COVID shit out of here.
Really? COVID's the thing you shoot for?
Like, get it out. I don't want none of this. If I could go back
what do you think that you would change?
Fucking, I don't know, get rid of bats.
Just obliterate bats, like off the map. You're like, you know what? I would go back and make sure that bats became an endangered species. That's what I would fucking do.
Ecologically, that would probably fuck something else up.
Oh, definitely. It would fuck massive shit up.
But if I could find a way, man, I'd love for COVID to never have been a thing, because that screwed up so many things. For me, just being like, wah, I want life to be normal, but also like there's a lot of people struggling right now. Like that shit ain't cool.
Yeah, that's very true. COVID is like honestly a great one. I mean, no idea how you would solve it. Honestly, it's like because I guess at this point, like we don't even necessarily have like a concrete cause for the coronavirus. But I guess like one thing you could change is you could go back and be like, how about we take this shit a little bit more seriously early on? Let's close these fucking borders and shit. Let's put on masks. Let's be normal people. Don't wait till it comes to the United States to then be like, oh my God, we need to worry about the coronavirus. Like, come on, dude. This is all faster.
It just feels like this could have been over a long time ago now. But it is what it is.
Dude, they're stomping on people's rights, making them wear a mask. People they have a hard time breathing through the mask. They're killing people, bro. They dead. There are landfills filled with bodies of people who choked on their own mask. It's seriously the dumbest shit, dude. I don't know why, but just seeing somebody protesting masks while having the biggest gun humanly possible is just one of the funniest things I've ever seen. It's like, why are you taking this so seriously? It's a fucking sheet of paper over your face.
They're so thin. Like,
yeah. They're like, I can't breathe. Dude. Oh my God. It's so dumb. Oh my gosh. But I definitely Yeah, the coronavirus is a good one. I mean, there's always the things that's like, of course, I just got to be the asshole about this. Like, I would like to go back in time and just like off baby Hitler, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
or make sure he gets into art school, just like those things. But then
like, here's the
you
thing.
Can't necessarily guarantee that somebody else won't like take up that void. Be like, you know what? Psh, like, I could fucking, I can do it.
If you got rid of Hitler, I'm sure there would just be another person who would run that same course. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. Because at the end of the day, he was just like a figure where people were also controlling him in a way. Like, there were people above him, right? Like, if they wanted to, I'm sure they would find another icon for that kind of bullshit. So like, I don't know. Granted, I'd love for that to not have happened either, but like,
oh, definitely. It's like that Love, Death and Robots episode where they like keep trying to like kill baby Hitler or get him into art school and shit, and it just keeps fucking shit up.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my God. Yeah. So you always got to default to the killing Hitler. You know what I mean? Like you gotta, that's like the first one. That's even, you know what? That's such an obvious one that it should be unsaid. Everyone should be like, if I could travel through time, I'd off baby Hitler. And they're like, but what if you just like taught him how to beef up his portfolio, maybe how to write a resume? Maybe you could get him into art school. And you're like, it's way easier to just like punch a baby, you know? Like, I'm not trying to spend my whole life changing history. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Do you have to live with the consequences? Like, do you have to be like, all right, and now I live here? And they're just
that is a good point. Is there
punched a baby?
Yeah, he is like, is there a way back? Do you even, I mean, if you could go back, okay, so you are going back to the past and you can only change one thing. So seemingly, no. Like, based on the way this is worded, you will come back.
Okay.
But you could come back and be like, I actually don't exist because it turns out that I have like 1/4 German in me or something. Like, it's like, you never know. You know?
Yeah.
It's weird. I'm not going to get into it. There's so much stuff about World War II. Like, it's so insane how long you cover World War II in like high school, but still don't learn about all sorts of shit. Like the fact that there were like Nazis that, this is really fucked up, but would essentially like force women to have children with them so that they could birth a superior race. Like, it's so fucked up. And so many people like, so, I mean, I believe I was listening to a podcast from Gimlet. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was, they were talking about how the lead singer of Toto, I believe, I think it's Toto. I'm not 100% sure, but essentially like that was their origin. It's just super fucked up. Like, it's just so sad. Just all sorts of shit you never thought about. That's a dope mustache, by the way, Big Josh boy. You looking good. You looking villainous, if anything. You just curl up the sides.
You know?
Okay.
Dude, my wife fucking hates this thing.
Really?
Yeah, she's been complaining at me every day to get rid of this because there's so much hair here.
She doesn't like the goatee.
She doesn't. Yeah, she doesn't love the goatee. When I curled it and I thought it was real cool, she was like, "You look ridiculous," and I was like, "No, man, I'm gonna see. Look, it's so
like I look
good,
fucking
dude.
dope, bro.
I look fucking good.
Yeah, like guy just get a top hat, like a dope ass suit.
I know, Monopoly, fucking man.
You could totally wear a monocle. You could pull off a monocle, bro. You could do it. I believe in you.
I think I could. I didn't think that's how we transitioned from that conversation, but damn, it was quite a transition.
You got a dope mustache. Yeah, you gotta love it. I've never been good at transitions, so why not just talk about your mustache?
I feel like that was buttery smooth. I don't know.
I guess if there's anything in my life that I would go back and change, it would, and this sounds really, okay, it would just be like, this is technically changing a lot, but it would just like go back and like beat the shit out of myself as a kid and be like, take school seriously and then just dip. You know what I mean? Like, there's those few things. It's like, I'm pretty sure if somebody like just came out of a portal in my bedroom, whooped my ass, and then told me that if I didn't do good in school, that they'd come back and whoop my ass again, I'm like 100% sure that I'd be good in school from then on. Like, that's the one thing I changed. And then it reverberates. It's that butterfly effect. So, like, I think that's the two things I'd change. Often baby Hitler and, taking education seriously. I also love that, like...
I love, well, hold up.
Yeah, go for it.
My interest in this is the situation where you're like, not just like finding a way to change it and just be like, I'd like to just change my, the way that I thought of school. You're like, no, I need to beat myself up and fucking scare myself because there's no possible reason why I would think to study other than
I know myself.
Because people are going to beat the shit out of me.
No, dude, like my dad literally sat down and gave me the longest fucking like lectures about why I needed to do good in school. He took me to neighborhoods that were being foreclosed on and he was like, look, this is going to be you. And one time he was like, if you don't do good in school, you're going to be living on the side of a train tracks. You're going to be in a box. What if you could be homeless? What if another homeless person wants your box? And I was like, I'll fucking throw rocks at him. I'm not a bitch. I was that kid who my dad was just like, I mean, fucking okay. Like I don't know what I say to that. Yeah, it seems like you got this down pat. I hope your box is heated. Like it's all right. Like, yeah, that was actually a conversation. I was like, I fucking throw rocks at him, Dad. What do you think? Like, I'll beat the
It's okay,
heads.
man. Honestly, like as much as people harp on like, oh, you should pay attention to school and you'll go far, like it doesn't equate to success. Like
nah.
You could be good in school and you could still be like whatever, shitty life. It doesn't matter.
Lots of people have ass lives but have college degrees.
You do?
No,
it's just dude, I've got a college degree. Where the fuck am I? I'm not doing nothing.
I'm fucking talking to you about my mustache and Nazis.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I've got a master's degree and my dumb ass is talking to you fucking once a week.
Checks out.
About like your fucking bowel movements and shit. Like, come on now.
Fair point. So that is the end of this episode. Thanks everyone so much for listening. Obviously a shorter episode since we didn't have any like main news stories, and it was kind of just a catch up over the past little while since we didn't do a normal episodes last week. But trust me, next week we're going to have a whole bunch of news to talk about. We're going to have a bunch of questions, all the fun stuff. But if you would like to chat with us outside of the show, be sure to follow us at IndiePod over on Twitter. Of course, that's where you get notifications of when our episodes go live, the developer interviews. You get, if I ever end up making new fucking merchandise, you can join our Discord there. All sorts of fun stuff. That's just at IndiePod over on Twitter. Super easy to find. You can follow me, Vaughn, at Hyde Legion. That's HYDELEGION. Over on Twitter for just, I don't know, my dumb bullshit, whatever, it doesn't really matter. And you can follow Josh at _Jorsh90. If you ever Twitch streams again, it's twitch.tv/the_Jorsh. I honestly, it's like throws me off.
Just get the 90 out. That's all it is.
Yeah,
Twitter has 90.
Like, throws me off.
Twitch does not. That's all it is.
There you go. We got to go through the housekeeping one more time, of course, before we hop off the podcast. Be sure to check out the Odd Bug Studio developer interview going live on the 13th of October. That is, of course, a Wednesday. Each and every developer interview goes live on a Wednesday. So every Wednesday, you're chilling there. You're like, man, my first 2 days, I already went through all my sweet ass podcasts. I'm like chilling here. I'm listening to an audiobook, but I only have an hour left. What do? Do I finish my audiobook? Maybe I finish on my day or something. Boom, dude, fucking listen to the developer interviews. Listen to these dope ass developers talk about their dope ass games. That's what you do. Listen. But yeah, that's
dude, can we get that as like
Studio.
A promo clip?
That was going live on the 13th, talking about the game Tales of Iron. Be sure to check out our Teespring store. Obviously, it's just IndiePod store over on Teespring. You can get shirts and stickers. Obviously. Check out our YouTube channel. It's just IndiePod over on YouTube. You subscribe there. You can watch these episodes if you'd like to. I don't know why you would, but whatever. Moving on.
What are you talking about? You got to see my nice mustache.
That's true, dude. You wouldn't be able to see the big Josh Boy's beautiful face and his dope-ass mustache. Yeah. If you gave her an ultimatum and you were like, if I have to shave this, I will have a mustache, Do you
Dude,
think she'd let you keep it?
no, dude, she hates the mustache even more. She would fucking kill me. I all the time, like, I mess with her where I'll shave everything off and I'll just keep the mustache. I'll be like, what do you think? She's like,
Really?
You look like a pedophile. Go shave your mustache.
Do you ever think about like shaving it and then just never acknowledging it? Like don't bring any attention to it.
What?
Just like walk around, go about your day. She's like, really? And you're like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I feel like if I was ever gonna do it, this is the time to do it because this is like the
yeah.
fullest that my mustache has been. Because usually I don't let it get this thick. But I don't know. I was on that kick where I was like, you know what? I just want to grow it out. And so I even told her, I was like, I'm not gonna shave it. She's like, you gotta shave it. I was like, give me a month. And so I'm 3 weeks in like she keeps like counting the days. She's like, Saturday, you better shave that thing. So
the second, it's
dude,
fucking like it's 11:59. You hear, you're like sleeping. It's Friday, 11:59. Boom, 12. She's like, and just like just shreds your face, dude. Just to get this goatee off.
I'm sure it'll happen. So
you ever
probably
think
next
about doing
episode,
the Iron Man goatee? It's like maybe she'd be into that. Is she? No, she hot for Robert Downey Jr. You think he could do that? Just like
I think I'm pretty close for a Robert Downey Jr. look.
Oh yeah,
like I think I could pull it off if I really wanted to go for it.
Also, I mean, in more ways than one, have you seen him on the set of Avengers? He has to wear like gigantic platform shoes because he's a shorty.
See, me and it.
Basically the same person.
Basically the same person, just a lot less money.
So please check us out over on YouTube. Just IndiePod over on YouTube. Leave us reviews on any site in which you can do so. Specifically, iTunes helps us out a lot. Helps us reach a wider audience. Spread the news about amazing indie games. And lastly, thank you so much to all of our amazing patrons at the $3 tier or higher. If you give us any amount of money or any amount of your time, you're absolutely fantastic. But made that blood pact, gotta fucking do it, you know? You just gotta do it.
You got it.
That's what happens. So thank you so much to Ethan, a gamer for fun. John. It's just John, dude.
It's just John.
It's just John. We'll see Zach Durham, Chase Hopkins, Philip Renshaw, the one better of Australia, Josh Nichols, aka Active Josh, and Sam Fillion from Canada. Thank you all so much. You are all so amazing, and we will talk to you all next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
Ooh. That was a sensual bye.
Oh, thank you. It wasn't as sensual as your fart noise.